And he's the best heavyweight in the world, there's no question.
Him and Dillian Whyte potentially next.
Dillian Whyte, right, is a problem for anybody who he gets in the ring. No one's brushing Dillian Whyte aside. Believe you me, Dillian is a fucking headache. He's big, he's heavy, he's brave, he's dangerous, he can punch. All of them attributes lead to a hard night for anybody, even Tyson Fury. So, and Tyson will know that, and I think they've sparred together and shared the ring a few times.
Do you see that fight happening?
Yes, I do.
Do you really?
Yeah, I see it happening in this country as well. Purely because Tyson needs a homecoming fight. And people saying that he's not going to get motivated to fight, absolute nonsense. In the places Tyson Fury's been, Tyson Fury will be motivated for any fight. So,
those are the words of Tony Bellew as he expresses the dangers of Dillian, the body snatcher Whyte. And, you know, of course, he said that he's a headache, an effing headache for anybody. And to counterpunch that, he's absolutely right. And Dillian Whyte is a fighter that I think politics got in the way of Whyte a lot of times because people knew Dillian Whyte is that guy or could be that guy that upsets everything. You know, see, Dillian Whyte was always the guy. He was the wild card. He was the guy that should have had this, but never had that, you know, or something happened where, hey, that was the excuse for his opportunity to be snatched away from him. So a lot of injustice was done to Dillian Whyte. And I think, you know, that makes him more of a resentful person. I think it also makes him, you know, more driven, you know. People look at Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, and I have to remind people time and time again, Wilder ain't white, okay? Wilder's not white. He is not that type of fighter. Dillian Whyte is a guy that can box. He has better attributes. You know, he can mix it up. He likes to fight on the inside, whereas Wilder does not. Nothing about these guys are the same. You know, probably second to the initials and their intentions. I want to catch a body in the ring, says Deontay Wilder. And I'm a body snatcher, says Dillian Whyte. But other than that, they have nothing else in common, right? You know what I mean? They're different everything, okay? And Dillian Whyte is a problem for anybody, okay? And especially like Tony Bellew said, Tyson Fury. And I'm glad people are really realizing that, because what happens if Tyson Fury gets beat by Dillian Whyte? Everybody will be like, you know what I mean? And it will be like, yo, well, no, I wouldn't be surprised on none of that. Why? Because Tyson Fury fighting someone like Dillian Whyte, it only shows what happens when you fight the best people, when you fight the person that you're supposed to fight, when you fight those elite guys that you haven't fought in a very long time. If you go from 2018 to 2021, you had 6 fights that Tyson Fury had, which was a lot. Okay? He had 7 fights, right? So Fury, Pianetta, Wilder, 18. Then Tom Swartz and Otto Wallin, 19. Then 20, you had Deontay Wilder. Then 21, so 7 fights. Then you had Deontay Wilder again. Well, other than Wilder, well, who has he fought? Okay. Now, the interesting thing I wanted to see how things unfolded when Dillian Whyte came up against Otto Wallin, since Otto Wallin had a better chance than any of those other guys, including Wilder. Wilder could just as a good puncher. Don't get it twisted. He's not a fighter at all. He can just punch. You can see that. You know, so yeah, that what made him dangerous. That's what made it interesting. But who really did more damage to Tyson Fury than Otto Wallin? Nobody. So we were finally getting to see that. So I know it is a headache, and I know the rumors of him faking the injury, yada, 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 right? It is hell of a convenience. It is too convenient at a lot of times, but, well, does Dillian Whyte deserve the opportunity? Hell yeah, he does. Why? Because he's waited for it forever, right? But chances these guys fighting and Tyson Fury losing, that's not a landslide. That's not something that you would have the, oh my God, what did I just see? You know, would it be an upset for probably a better standpoint because they just seen Tyson Fury beat the hell out of Deontay Wilder? But guess what? He's already done that. So what's the big fuss about? If he gets in there and tangles with a guy like Dillian Whyte, he will be a fucking headache. You know? Now, does Tyson Fury have the attributes to beat him? Yes. But does Dillian Whyte have the attributes to beat Tyson Fury? Yes. So that's what makes it that much interesting. And it is a dangerous fight for Tyson Fury. And Tony Bellew is right. So if you've heard it from anybody, you've heard it from him first. And I will second that notion with my counterpunch. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Tony Bellew stating that Dillian Whyte is a effing headache. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.